Hello, Sanbona. Good evening, everyone. This is Ntokozo Ndlovu, the founder of the Web Foundation and Siyafunda Donated Book. So what we basically do, we are a non-profit organization. We establish libraries in rural schools. If I may just take you back and give you some takeaways from the past few years of what we have done. We have been to 9 provinces and we have been to 57 schools. It's amazing, guys. We have reached out to more than 32 children and we've donated more than 300,000 books to these rural schools. So we are very excited and we're looking forward to doing more work because of the need that is out there for these libraries in these rural schools. Right. So let me just give you again my biggest blunder. As the leader of the organization, Siyafunda Donated Book in particular, as we are well known, of how I've made or how I've learned through this journey of being a social entrepreneur. So I've got 3 lessons and one bonus. So one lesson is building structures within the organization, regardless of it being an NPO. Secondly, building systems. When there's structures, you need to have systems in place that you will, if you delegate according to the structures, what needs to be done, when and how. And then the last one is development, of myself as the leader, and Amachiteng Hispana now. And then you'll get to hear about the bonus later on. Right. So my biggest blunder, I call it trust them all, or love them all, but trust no one. Love them all, trust no one. So this is what happens a few years back. In this work of ours, we were about to visit or take a trip to this particular province and this particular school, who have requested a computer as well as the books, because we've been in that particular province before and we've donated books and computers. So they want to keep up the standard. So they then contact us and then we made arrangements and organized a computer from our donors and the books and everything. And then we prepared a trip to this particular province. During that preparation time, I was detached in Durban. So I was not in Pretoria. I couldn't be here to receive my computers. So within the team that I work with of Siyafunda, so there are guys that they take different roles when we move out, but it's not stipulated anywhere ubani wenzani yabo. So that's the first blunder in ngayo yama structures. Right. So I make arrangements with the school, because I'm the one that speaks to the school, to say we're coming on this date and we're delivering. Yes, we have the computers, we have the books, so on this date we're coming. And then I informed the team is excited, and there was this one particular guy who was, I instructed, or I had requested he must work with these computers and install applications and the works for these computers for this particular school. And he has done that for the past 2-3 years. He's been doing that. So on my behalf, he was able to receive my computer, confirmed the received, and then confirmed that he was working on them. And then a week before, or a weekend before we leave, we're going to leave on Monday. So I arrived in Pretoria on Friday to confirm everything is on par. We pack the whole weekend, we prepare everything that needs to be. There's a lot of work that needs to be done before we move, So we did that, I did that, and then, but prior that, the pre-planning happened while I was in Durban, and via, your group. And then everything was confirmed on the group, the books, the guys that were instructed to make sure ukuthi incwadi iziphelele, packed and ready, are there. They just need us to move the books and the computers. He's done everything. The media guys, they sorted out. So that was done. And then Friday I arrive, Saturday we are all together, Sunday we are all together, and then Monday I come to receive or to pack my laptop from him, and he says he's got a surprise. Yeah? Surprise, Ntwana. Surprise. Okay, what's the surprise? The surprise was he has organized computers in that particular province for that particular school that we are going to, but he has not informed me. I was like, okay, but Ntwana, uyenza kanjani le nto? How? Because why didn't you inform me about this? And you're informing me now when we need to leave. And I was like, yeah, man, but I've already made arrangements. You know, there's a lady somewhere in another province who has requested, who have seen us on social media and has requested a computer because he's running this community computer training center. So therefore, she needs a computer. And then I've agreed with some guy on a computer. On what grounds, on what basis? And how do you do that without speaking to me? I'm told structuring, structures within the organization. Right. Then I said, no, you can't do that. That lady will not get the computers. Give us the 5 computers that we have, and then we'll see the rest when we come back. But these 5 will go to the other 2 schools that we've been to, as I've said earlier. 2 computers just to, sibakhuthaze nyana ukuthi we are there, and then siyababonga ngokuyiphatha kahle kwesikole and stuff like that, ngokupusha the work, keeping up the library up and running and stuff like that. So bagaya 2, and then we'll give a principal A1 for the new school. And then it was like, okay, sharp. He went inside the house 15 minutes, came back with a box full of computer bags inside the box. And then when I opened the box, okay, it was computers and bags. I was like, okay, say page motweni, and then we hit the road. Say shy moto, baba. Say shy moto. We went to this particular province. We arrived. We informed everybody, every stakeholder there. Would say, tomorrow this is the program. We're setting up on my computer. We're doing this. We're doing that. We're doing that. And then it was then agreed to say in the morning he will then take a vehicle with another guy, go and get these computers where he organized them. As he has said, he has a surprise for us. Right. They move. And then when they come back, they say the computers will be ready by tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Wednesday. So this guy knows our drill. And everyone in our team knows how we operate when we get to a school. First day we pack, we prepare, we let the principal see the refurbished library, as well as a computer if I corner, and SGP and everyone that is involved. And then on the following day, then that's when we launch, and then that's where we give our workshop. We do our workshop with the kids and everybody. Now, because we have promised to deliver on the computers, the books. Tuesday comes, they go, they come back, they say the computers will be ready the following day. Now we had to have a plan to tell or inform the principal about this. That was my biggest challenge. Now, taking into consideration if we had structures and systems in place, some of the signals we could have seen them before the time, before we even arrive at the school. Personally, that's just one of my biggest blunder in the process. Now we had to go and give an excuse to the principal about some technical abilities and stuff like that, of not getting these computers and not being ready and stuff like that. And so we agreed that tomorrow morning we'll have a computer. But then we requested these boxes of computers that we came with, only to find inside it's just books, these computer bags. that was a big signal for us, and for the whole team and for me, if there were systems in place and we could have learned about this earlier on, learned about this big surprise earlier on, but there are no systems because of I run this organization as umuntu uyeza just because of ufuna ukusebenza and thinking that he's passionate about books and the rural children, and therefore I just accept wonke umuntu kanjalo. But if there were systems and structures in place, we could have done what each and every organization does formally. So, vetting people, who is this guy, what does he do, what is his background, and stuff like that. And once we have him inside the organization, simnike a certain role, and then that person will be responsible for that role and equipment and whatever that he is working with. So again, that's my biggest blunder in the whole process. Right, so it's Wednesday. I decide to wake up and personally to go and get these computers. And then we go to the mall. When we got to the mall, walking in, and then this guy says, Bafo, I have a confession to make. Okay, confession, what confession? And then it was like, yeah, there are no laptops, there are no computers. Oh, shit, yeah. What do you mean there are no computers? You said you've arranged computers. Said there are no computers. And then what about our computers? Like, there are no computers. What happened to our computers? And at that time, my mind was on the principal, the school children that were supposed to be receiving these things. We've made a promise. We need to deliver on the promise. And regardless of whether big or small organization we are, we have made a promise to these kids. These are the lessons that I've learned from my biggest blunder. As I've said earlier on, there's three, and I say one. So this one of setting up my structures within the organization, as much as no matter how small the organization can be or big the organization can be, because one day it will outgrow you as the owner or the founder of the organization or as the leader of the organization. You must have structures in place. Secondly, following our structures are systems, because without systems in place, everyone does what he wants when he wants to do. Nobody is responsible for anything, and so nobody takes responsibility for anything that happens within the organization's equipment, assets, whatever the case might be. So you need to have systems in place. Once you have systems, that's how big companies and big organizations operate, So you have a title, you are an operational ndondon, you are a project manager, and you know your duties and responsibilities. So you have a duty sheet where you acknowledge you are responsible for 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's it, and you are responsible for that. So I had failed to implement that, and on top of that, the last one that I'm still going through now is development of Amachita within the organization, so that they'll be able to, when we set up our structures, they are ready to execute and ready to take responsibility for whatever that they need to do, and with whatever equipment that they have on their position. Right. And then the bonus one is that the approach, guys, towards NPOs and non-profit organizations. So if you are there sitting and thinking, I would want to start an NPO one day because I would want to do charity work to the community, is that you should approach it as a business. You should approach it as a big organization and implement structures early in the business or early in the organization, regardless of how small you can be, ukuthi-ke ukwazi uku-operator ngendlela right when and not ukuthi organization outgrow, because you'll be receiving computers, you'll be receiving vehicles, you'll be receiving maybe property in the next future, so you won't be able to handle all these assets and this equipment because of you don't have structures in place and systems in place to make sure that everything works for the organization. So ngiyabonga kakhulu to get this opportunity to speak to you guys about this, about my biggest blunder, and I'm hard at work in making sure that the structures are in place, the systems are in place. I develop Amachita, and my approach now towards the work that we're doing, it's properly organized, planned, and yeah. So those are my biggest blunders, guys, and how I felt at that time. Blunder, when we were going through the blunder, I felt I disappointed myself, the organization, the people that we were supposed to deliver these computers to. Not much to the guy, because I couldn't hold him responsible for anything, because it was just a matter of lungisa nama computer and then survive. So my biggest blunder was with me. If I had him maybe signing some documents, making sure with it's there, and and then he reports back to somebody, and then but there was no systems in place. So guys, please, this is a big lesson for me, and I hope you guys will also learn from this biggest blunder of mine, not to in your organizations or in the future. Yeah, thank you.